Why airports are not that bad in a zombie apocalypse. Yes, I know what you're thinking. How is an airport going to be a good place in the face of a zombie apocalypse? Well, in this video, I will try to make you see the positive side of this bad place. Or maybe not, who knows. Anyway, I'll read you in the comments. But since I know what you want to see first, let's look at the cons of this place. The initial chaos at an airport during a zombie apocalypse would be like Black Friday shopping on steroids. Picture this. Flight announcements blare through the loudspeakers, but instead of boarding zones, they announce zombie sightings at Gate 23. Travelers, already grumpy from delayed flights and overpriced coffee, now have to dodge zombies in Hawaiian shirts and neck pillows. Security lines, usually slow and torturous, become scenes of pandemonium as TSA agents wielding plastic trays attempt to fend off the undead. Your luggage is now a barricade, or worse, a weapon in the hands of a panicked tourist who thinks smacking zombies with a Samsonite will save the day. Families sprint in every direction, leaving behind suitcases and sanity, while business travelers in suits try to maintain some semblance of order, holding up their briefcases as if PowerPoint presentations could protect them. Duty-free shops become impromptu shelters, and the smell of overpriced perfume mingles with the stench of fear and zombie breath. Even the moving walkways turn into chaotic battlefields, with zombies stumbling against the flow and passengers in an all-out sprint to nowhere. In short, the initial chaos at an airport during a zombie apocalypse would be a bizarre, hilarious, and terrifying spectacle, proving that even in the face of the undead, people will still argue over overhead bin space. Navigating an airport during a zombie apocalypse with limited mobility is like trying to escape a haunted house with all the doors locked, except the ghosts are brain-hungry zombies, and you're dragging your carry-on luggage behind you. With escalators turned into precarious zombie slides and moving walkways clogged with the undead, travelers find themselves stuck in a bizarre version of the floor is lava, hopping over seats and ducking behind counters. As if this wasn't tricky enough, all those once helpful security checkpoints now turn into bottlenecks of doom, with passengers piling up against body scanners and x-ray machines, making a beeline for safety while the TSA officers try to keep the situation under control with nothing but their uniforms and that one confiscated nail file. The usual tight security at airports doesn't fare much better under the strain of the apocalypse. Imagine a scene where security guards, now wielding confiscated selfie sticks and water bottles, attempt to maintain order while zombies in ill-fitting pilot uniforms shuffle towards the gates. Metal detectors beep incessantly, not because someone forgot to take off their belt, but because a zombie's jawbone just fell through. Meanwhile, the air traffic control tower is in complete disarray, with controllers arguing whether zombies have priority clearance on the runway. With the undead breaching through the VIP lounges and first-class areas, the once secure zones turn into chaotic mazes where travelers dodge zombies and search for a miracle flight out. Security compromises galore. The airport becomes a surreal blend of high-stress travel and a horror comedy, with every escape route presenting a new set of hilariously grim challenges. Trying to turn an airport full of zombies into a secure and autonomous place in the long run is like attempting to host a perpetual party with an ever-growing guest list of uninvited, very hungry guests. First off, securing the perimeter is a joke. Sure, they've got some fencing and those fancy revolving doors, but zombies treat barriers like toddlers treat playpens. Mere suggestions. Every time a survivor thinks they've secured an entrance, a zombie janitor somehow manages to shuffle through with a mop, completely ruining the mood. Energy is another hilarious hurdle. The airport's backup generators provide power for a while, but eventually the fuel runs out. The comedy of errors that ensues ensures that while it might be temporarily amusing, in the long run, it's as doomed as a snowman in the Sahara. But then what is good about this place? Well, there are several variables. Imagine that you live in Montana or Idaho, and while you were sightseeing in Atlanta, you found out that the zombie apocalypse has begun in NY. I don't know you, but walking back to your house from Atlanta doesn't sound like the best idea in the world. If you are in the initial phase, before everything collapses, traveling by plane is the fastest and safest way to return to your city or surrounding area. By the way, we have the goal of reaching 1K subs before September. Subscribe now. But there's more. Imagine being stuck in an airport during a zombie apocalypse. Sure, it's not ideal, but think of the perks. First off, you're surrounded by some of the most powerful communication equipment known to man. Airport control towers are like the Batcave of radio and radar systems. Once you figure out how to use all those buttons and switches, you could be broadcasting your own zombie survival podcast, reaching out to other survivors, or just pranking the undead with endless loops of elevator music. It's like having your own private radio station, but instead of traffic updates, you're giving zombie locations. You can close off large sections of the building, turning concourses into safe zones. It's basically like having a giant, albeit slightly creepy, playhouse. With all the little shops and kiosks, you'll never run out of novelty hoodies. Sure, you might end up with one that says I Heart NY when you're actually in Denver, but in a zombie apocalypse, style points don't matter. Airports also receive regular deliveries, so there's bound to be some hidden treasures in the cargo hold. Think of it like a scavenger hunt with the potential for snacks. And speaking of supplies, food and medical stashes are definitely somewhere. A thorough search might uncover a motherload of pretzels, peanuts, and mini bottles of water, not to mention first aid kits galore. It's like finding the holy grail of airline amenities. Imagine this, you're sitting in first class, fully reclined, with all the zombies safely on the other side of the locked aircraft door. It's the VIP apocalypse experience, complete with complimentary blankets and maybe a forgotten stash of tiny liquor bottles. But back to the communication equipment, the real gem of the airport. With a bit of fiddling, you could be sending out distress signals, coordinating with other survivors, or just playing DJ for your own end-of-the-world dance party. The biggest challenge? Figuring out how to use all this high-tech gear without accidentally calling in a horde of zombies instead of fellow survivors. Hey, this video was possible thanks to the member of the channel Ticket 2 Space. Join the community and participate in making the videos with your opinion. But now, what do you think? Is an airport a good place to be in the face of a zombie apocalypse? I read you in the comments.